wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched, or somebody psychs you over at ABC, they're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name?
Reid Hoffman.
Who? Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You got to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Friends, very quickly, I want to ask you, how much money is Saudi Arabia giving for Gaza reconstruction?
Well, we have a discussion about that. Still, there is no amount being
It'll be a lot.
named, but
It'll be a lot.
we will definitely help.
Yeah, he's going to. It's very important to him.
And a quick follow-up, the International Security Force, given your pledge there would be no U.S. boots on the ground, what is the U.S. role going to be in that, and how do you sort of ratify the allegations that this could undermine Palestinian sovereignty and even the path to statehood?
Look, I think we're going to get along great with the Palestinians, and we know their leadership. We just had a very, you hate to say war, but it was a war. Very, very successful. And you could say really it was on behalf of everybody. We did that on behalf of everybody. And the outcome was extraordinary because we have the best pilots, the best equipment, the best planes, the best everything. And Israel bought the best equipment. They bought it from us. Everything's from us. It all starts here. This office, I was talking to the Crown Prince a little while. You walk into this office, for somebody from the outside, the Oval Office, it's the most powerful place in the world. You're standing right now in the most powerful place in the world. And no matter how big you are, these are the biggest people, the richest people. They walk into this office. It's special, isn't it? Look at him. He's so happy to be here. But you walk into this office. It's the Oval Office. And we've done a lot of good with this office. I've stopped actually 8 wars. I appreciated your question before. But I've actually stopped 8 wars. I have another one to go with Putin. I'm a little surprised at Putin. It's taken longer than I thought. But we stopped India and Pakistan. I could go through the list. You know the list better than I do. I'm very proud. And I stopped one that was almost ready to start again. You know, there was one that was ready to start, and they're doing very well. So it all took place right here in the Oval Office, whether by telephone or whether by they came in. Many of these leaders have come in, And, you know, they signed their peace deals right here in the Oval Office. So no matter if it's the biggest business people in the world or the greatest leaders in the world, the biggest leaders in the world, like the gentleman on my right, everybody walks into the Oval Office and they say, wow. And now, by the way, the Oval Office is in the kind of condition that it should be in. Whether you look at the walk or the marble floors or anything down the road, we're fixing the White House and we're building one of the greatest ballrooms ever to be built. You know, we have an event tonight and we're going to have about 118 people because we have a very small room. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom, and now you're going to get a great ballroom. And I have to say, I probably made a lot of enemies because in your honor, we're having a dinner tonight, a beautiful dinner tonight, and we have a very small room, right? It's called the East Room, and it's beautiful, it's lovely, but it's like for a little cocktail before you go into a ballroom. It's a very small room. They've wanted a new ballroom for 150 years. We could have sold the big ballroom out 3 times in honor of this gentleman. So I made a lot of enemies because I have a lot of people that are invited tonight or are unable to come because of the size constraint. But you know what we'll do before I leave office? We'll have another dinner because we'll have it ready long before I leave office, and it's going to be beautiful. It's you know, it's a very popular thing what we're doing. And by the way, no government funds. It's all put up private money, all private money. And in the case, I think it's there's a restriction on foreigners. Otherwise, I could have asked you just for a check. Okay? But there's a restriction. These are all private individuals that put up a lot of money to build the ballroom. Not one penny is being used from the federal government. So it's really a nice thing. But I look forward to it. I just pointed it out. If this would be a perfect night to have that ballroom open, Susie. If we had that open, we'd have a lot of people very happy. Right now, we have a lot of unhappy people because they all want to be with us tonight to honor this great man. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
By the way, you know, the hat is right. Trump was right about everything. He's right about everything, y'all. President Obama tore down I think it was the basketball court or something. He tore down a lot more than what Trump is doing, all with taxpayer dollars to put up a tennis. Oh, I think he tore down the tennis court to put up I can't remember exactly what it was, but he used taxpayer funding. Did the Democrats say anything then? Did the media say anything then? Did any of these Hakeem Nobody Dream people back then who were in control, did they say anything? Schumer? No. But as soon as Trump does it, I mean, what's wrong with the ballroom? What's wrong with adding class? What's wrong with adding a little prestige to the White House, to the Oval Office? What's wrong with that? He's not taking it from Americans. This is a guy, I'm telling you, he has done more in 9-10 months than any. You know what, politicians? This is the normal kind of modus operandi for politicians. They talk a bunch of crap during the election cycle, and then once they get elected, they completely do the opposite. Or they're so slow. It's such a snail pace crawl to get anything done that nothing ends up happening. The mediocre, red tape, bureaucratic nightmare that they don't want to commit to circumventing completely consumes them. Trump is the exact opposite. And the best example of this is when Scott Adams, the creator of the comic strip Dilbert, had that issue with his healthcare provider. This is a guy who has terminal stage prostate cancer. And he reached out to President Trump on X. This was on a Sunday. And Trump says, I'm on it. 3 words, I'm on it. He's right about the media. Over 90% negative publicity. He's ended how many conflicts now? He's brokered how many deals now? He's modified his positions, his stances on things. Now he's removing tariffs on certain products that he feels, you know what, maybe we could give a little bit of break for the holiday season. He has partnered with some of the most amazing individuals, all in the name of America First. He's incentivized trillions and trillions of manufacturing back into our home interior, our sovereign nation, the United States of America, which we never had before. He's initiated new trade agreements with Mexico, Canada. He's brought ethos, credibility back. And this alone deserves Mount Rushmore status. He's literally closed the border. The vegetable in chief and Kamala let in 30 million illegals. California issued 17,000 CDLs to illegal immigrants, a coach and his wife. A very renowned coach. But it doesn't matter what his status is. He's an American citizen, unalived due to an illegal immigrant having a CDL. He couldn't even read the signs. He can't even speak English. He couldn't read the signs. He failed his test 10 times. Never mind the guy in Florida. These are just the documented reports. He's literally saving our country. They brought out, then you had the House Oversight Committee. They brought out all these emails. Oh my God, Trump's in the emails. I went through step by step every single email. The only conclusion one could surmise, if you have even an ounce of critical thinking, even an ounce of critical discernment, is, the worst, most evil thing that ever walked the earth, besides maybe Hitler, hated President Trump. Epstein hated President Trump, and he was colluding with Democrats to impede and obstruct President Trump. The guy kicked him out of his club. The guy blew the whistle on him. I showed you the clip of the author, the famous author who's written more about Epstein than anybody, that Levine guy. He said, you know what that means when he says the dog that's not barking is Mr. Trump? What he means is Trump was the first person to open an investigation into Epstein. It's all bupkis. They tried to defame him. They tried to discredit him. They tried to imprison him. They tried to assassinate him. They've thrown everything and the kitchen sink at this guy. And you mean to tell me you sat on this? You sat on this? Now all of a sudden you care about Epstein? You sat on this for 12 of the last 16 years? The guy announced he was running in 2015. You sat on this? Russia collusion, complete hoax. Complete hoax. Guess who it was architected by? Tulsi Gabbard did a huge major press conference. We're all still waiting for this. Hopefully it's going to happen. I don't know. Hopefully it's going to happen. But guess who architected the Russia collusion hoax, which was an expenditure of billions and hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars, a huge, gigantic nothing burger. They put the country through hell for 10 years over Russia. It was a complete and unequivocal hoax, a farce, architected by who? Obama. That is an act of sedition. That is treason. That is executing a coup on a sitting president of the United States of America. All these people. Letitia James, mortgage fraud. Adam Schiff, mortgage fraud. Eric Swalwell, mortgage fraud. They're all criminals. Stacey Plaskett actually colluding with Epstein through text messages? The Democrats are silent on that. We don't know. I don't know. No. They're just trying to detract. Hakeem, nobody's dream. Dollar store Timu Obama has nothing to say about this. Do I even need to say any more, folks?